Rajesh ji. Hello, auntie. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಆಂಟಿ? ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನಿಮ್ದು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Shlokas and Parables session again. So we continue with our session. So over to Lakshmi, Sushila auntie. Sorry. Sushila auntie, for you. Omkara. Yes.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste.
So we'll start with the Omkar. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Okay, good morning to everybody. Namaste.
Hello, auntie. Yeah, hearty welcome. There are other center people also. I'm just little unwell, so I'm not visible in the video. And I've disabled everybody to unmute. It will get activated only in the end. Till then, we will continue with this. Yes, auntie, you can continue.
Okay. Last class, we have seen some slokas as prayer to Guru. Okay. Today we will see 2-3 mantras which we can include in our daily pujas or in any occasions or auspicious occasions. Okay. And the first mantra, what I am going to tell you, is a Paumana mantra. That means a purifying mantra. This is found in Brihadaranya Upanishad as a Shanti mantra. You know, this Upanishad is a part of Yajurveda. And many of you might have heard this mantra and may be familiar with this mantra, but let us see the literal meaning as well as the in-depth meaning of this mantra. Asato ma sadgamaya, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. And the literal meaning of this sloka is like this. Om, lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So that is the literal meaning of it. This usually we chant, and in many, inaugural functions, when they light the lamp, they chant it. And also, this is a mantra where we are not asking for any material benefits. We are not asking for any prosperity or money or fame or anything like that. It is just for our own upliftment, to know our real self. And that will give us a lot of, peace in our mind. And this is a mantra for the seekers of knowledge. And let us see word by word meaning of this. What is asat? Asatoma, asat. Asat means non-existence, unreality. Okay. Non-real, non-existence or non-real or not truth. Sat, sat means existence, truth, reality. It is existence, truth, reality. Gamaya means lead us. So lead us from asat to sat. That is from non-real to real. What is truth? How you define truth? Truth is something which will never change. Truth will remain, something will never change. It will be like that. Tamas, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Tamas means, literal meaning is darkness. Okay. Jyoti means light. Okay. That is from darkness to light. Means from ignorance to knowledge. Darkness is symbolic of ignorance, and light is symbolic of knowledge. So lead us from ignorance to knowledge. Mrityorma amridam gamaya. From death to immortality. Ignorance is a type of death. We are not aware of anything. We are not aware of the reality. From that immortality, that means a liberation. Please, so we are requesting the Lord to liberate us from this ignorance. This is a request. Because what is the ignorance here? We are not aware of the reality. That means my own existence. I'm not aware of it. I am Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. I am not aware of it. So this is a mantra for the seekers of knowledge. So this can be chanted even by the students. In fact, the students should chant it because there is nothing religious in this. It is only positive vibes you get out of this mantra. In many schools, this mantra is being chanted as a part of the morning prayer. It was there in Kendriya Vidyalaya also, but afterwards, I don't know what happened. I don't know whether it is still being continued. But the students are the seekers of knowledge. For that only they come to the school or the college. So for the seekers of knowledge, this is the mantra. It gives a lot of peace of mind if you chant carefully with the meaning in our mind and with proper diction. So this is about this. This is about this mantra. So we will chant this once again and go to the next. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This can be included in your morning prayer or in the time of doing puja. It dawns peace in your bosom. The next mantra I was planning to give is Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Mahamrityunjaya mantra, that also many of you are very familiar, because Mrityunjaya Homa also is conducted in many temples and even at home. And that time also they chant this mantra. And also in the morning and during puja time, if you chant this mantra with full import of the meaning, it will definitely have lots of positive influence on us. Of course, this mantra you must be knowing. Anyway, we will chant it. Om Traimbagam Yajamahe. Om Traimbagam Yajamahe. Sugandhim Pushtivarthanam. Sugandhim Pushtivarthanam. Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mritshiyamamritat. Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mritshiyamamritat. This is the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Let us see the meaning of this mantra. Traimbagam. That means three-eyed Lord, Lord Shiva. So Adhisthana Devata for this mantra is Lord Shiva, Traimbageshwara. So three-eyed one Lord Shiva, I worship you, who is Sugandhim, who gives fragrance. You are fragrance. O Shiva, you are fragrance. Pushtivarthanam, who allows us to grow well-nourished and healthy condition. Pushtivarthanam. You allow us to grow well-nourished and healthy. Urvarukamiva bandhanat. Here what the meaning is, may I be released from the bondage of mortality. May I be released from the bondage of mortality, just as here a simile is being, an example is being done, just as the ripe cucumber, you know, the ripe cucumber, effortlessly leaves the plant when it is ripe. It will be attached to the creeper. So it comes out effortlessly when it is ripened. So like that, my bondage to this samsara should be separated, that I may be released from this bondage. Urvarukam means, it has many meanings. That is, it may need not be mrityu. We will see what is mrityu here. The mrityu can be in the disease or attachment or any obstacles in life or any depression. All these things, I should be released from all these. So this is indicated by one word, mrityu. So many obstacles in our life happens, diseases happens, and misery due to detachment happens. All these should be removed and I should be liberated from this bondage. Mrikshiya means moksha. That means I may be released, liberated. I may be liberated. Ma amritat, ma amritat. It is like that, ma amritat. If you see the sloga, after ma there will be a symbol, yes symbol. That means you have to put a there. That is ma amritat. That means not from immortality. I don't want the release from immortality. I should attain immortality. I should be released from the death and attain immortality, not from immortality. That is the meaning, the literal meaning of this mantra. It is a very powerful mantra which inspires us when we chant and reveals the highest spiritual truth. In this mantra, highest spiritual truth is embedded. So we will see what is it. Usually it became very popular because the people take that I should be released from this death. Death has to happen, is it not? Once born, death will come. But the fear of death, that is the one we should get over. Okay. So to get over the fear of death, the people usually chant. And in many homes, if somebody is sick also, they chant this Mrityunjaya mantra. It is not that he should come out of the death, but he should come out of the fear of death. Death will happen. Okay. That means he should be released from the worldly bondage. On this mantra, you know, this is a Vedic mantra. Vedic mantras are not written, this is a Shruti, but this is revealed. These mantras are revealed to rishis. I told you in the first class, these mantras are released to the rishis in their meditative stage, in their intense meditation. It will be revealed to them. So this was revealed to. So this mantra is attributed to Rishi Vasishta. Just like Surya Gayatri is associated to Vishwamitra, this is associated to Vasishta. And the presiding deity of the mantra is Lord Shiva, is the destroyer, Triambakeshwara, one who has 3 eyes. Then let us see little deeper into the meaning of this mantra. Okay, we have seen the literal meaning, but what is the full import of the meaning of this mantra? Literally, it is a mantra that gives victory over death. Okay, that is what is. Then we have to see what is death. it is not only the physical death, that is the death of the body, but the death has many meanings in our scriptures. And all these Indic religions, we believe in rebirth. We are in the circle of birth and death till our karmas are exhausted, until we get immortality or moksha. So birth is the beginning of the death. Is it not? The moment you are born, you have started the journey towards death. Is it not?
Yes, auntie.
You have started dying. So birth and death are the two sides of the same coin. If date of birth is there, in that it is written the other side, the date of death also. There is nothing like, died so early. So it has to happen, it happens. Because the death of the previous state is the birth of this state. And the death of this state is the birth of the next state. So we are going through this cycle. That is in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, when Arjuna was sitting in the chariot telling that I will not fight, I cannot kill my guru, I cannot kill my grandfather, I cannot kill my relatives. Instead, I will run away from here. Then Krishna really starts his advice to Arjuna from chapter 2nd, 11th sloka. Ashocyananna shocastvam prajñavadamscha bhashase gadasona gadasonscha nanushochandi panditaha. That is the first sloka he is telling to Arjuna as an advice. That means the wise people will not grieve for those who are breathing and those who are not breathing. That means they will not grieve for those who are dead and also those who are living. There is no death actually. Atma doesn't die. It cannot be distinguished like that. Just by the death of the body, the Atma doesn't die. Then why do you bother? Okay. So that is the birth is the beginning of the death. That is the physical death. Now, there is another meaning for the death. Change. Change is also a death. Change is a death. Every second in our body, millions of cells are dying. And perceptibly that we can see from our finite eyes, a baby grows, goes to a teenage, then becomes a youth, then becomes a middle-aged person, then old age. When the old age comes, the youth is dead. That stage is dead. Youth comes, the teenage is death. Death happened there. So death is a continuous phenomenon happening in this world. Especially when the old age comes. As Shankaracharya says in Bhajagovindam, Chindagrasta. Okay. He says, when you are young, you will be so much involved in play. When you are in youth, you will be involved in samsara. Then when you are in the old age, you will become worried. So this mantra helps you to manage this change and to know about this change, reality, will help you to see the reality, understand the reality, and we can manage the changes, whatever comes in our life. So many changes happens in our life. See, the profession will change, our property will change, our houses will. So in the beginning, suppose you go from a rented house to a new house, the change will be very happy. You don't feel anything, you will be happy. But if it happens the other way, suppose you are financially broken, from your own house, you have to sell and go to a rented house, a small house, then what happens? Your happy days have gone. The death happened. So change is also a death. So this mantra will help you to come out of your mental agony when the change happens. Similarly, misery is also a death. As I told you, if the change is conducive, you will be happy. You don't feel. But if it becomes very miserable, this misery will be a death. Then agitation in the mind. Sometimes we get agitated for so many things. Once, what happens when agitation happens? Our happiness underwent death. Our happiness are gone, extinguished. So the agitation is also a death. Sometimes some actions we do that will not be proper as per our expectation. Then what happens? Our peace of mind is gone. So a death happened. Where the peace of mind has gone, it has gone. So there are so many meanings for death. Then also we get agitated in our mind. For peace of mind, you can chant this mantra. Then dishonor. Suppose a noble person, he is well respected in the society. Somehow he is dishonored. People start talking all bad about him. Is it not his death? Here also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Arjuna was telling that I will run away from the battlefield, because Arjuna was a very well-known warrior. His valor is known the whole world, the best warrior. Suppose he runs away from the field, Sambhavidasya chagirtin maranadadiricyade. It is equal to your death, maranam. Krishna says. And it seems in Japan, in the old, I don't know whether it is prevalent now, it will not be now, because now it is a technical word. In the past, a noble person, if he is subjected to some dishonor, it seems he will commit suicide. If he doesn't commit suicide, then the society will again blame him, it seems. So that is, this dishonor is also a death of the personality happens. Then also we want peace. So we should be able to manage this change. So with Lord in mind, we chant this mantra. Similarly, severe illness, severe pain. Suppose a patient in the terminal stage, what he wants euthanasia. He wants to die. Okay. So this mantra, if he can chant in his mind or he can hear, he can get over the fear of death. Even if one wants to die, the fear of death will linger in our mind. The Shastra says the greatest fear the person has, a man has, is for any Bhuta, not only man, for any living being, is death. So you can come out of the fear of death. Then, last but not least, is the fear itself is a death. Fear itself is a death. So we should get courage to come out of the fear. Swami Vivekananda usually quote this, that fear is the greatest enemy of man. If you are fearful, you cannot do anything. For anything you will be shy to do, because whether I will be successful or not only about dying, or even for any action. So the fear itself is a death. Your personality will be dying if you have got fear in your mind. Some people who have got illness or pain, they will have fear about the future, fear about himself, how will be my last days, and what are the troubles I undergo. All this fear will be there. So the suffering associated with this fear is death. To come out of all these problems, the Shastra says that this mantra is very, very, very helpful. But you should chant with full devotion and with full meaning in your mind, and chant it properly. It will definitely give a positive vibe around, and also gives the peace will dawn in us. So that is the popularity of Mrityunjaya mantra. Why I explained so much is, usually the people, when somebody is in deathbed, they chant this so that he will come out of the death. That is not the thing. As I told you, once you are born, death is inevitable. But he should come out of the fear of death. That is more important. When the fear is not there in our mind, then only the Lord can enter. At the last moment, you should be lucky if the Lord's name or the Lord's form, your Ishtadevata form or whatever, comes in your mind. You will be very lucky. They say that you will get a better birth in a better family or better circumstances. So these are the important meanings of this mantra. So this mantra helps you freedom from fear, freedom from misery, freedom from change, freedom from illness, and also the fear from the freedom of physical death. Mukshya means I may be liberated. Ma amrta. Amrta means immortality. So immortality I should get. Okay. Ma amrta. Not from immortality. So if all these fears disappear from our mind gets so peaceful. And that itself is a moksha from that particular situation. Is it not? So here the person who is standing is asking for moksha or immortality, and relieve me from the pain of fear of death. So this mantra, if you chant, many people chant one full mala, that is 108 times. If you can chant any time in the day, it is very, very helpful. Or at least 11 times or 24 times, whatever it is. Try to chant this mantra and you can see the effect yourself. It's a very powerful mantra. We will chant once again.
Yes,
Om Trayambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivarthanam Urvaryukamiva bandhanan mrityor mrikshiyamamritavat. So these two mantras you can chant along with other slokas you chant during the daily pujas, so that you will get a lot of peace after the puja ritual. Now, during the puja time, usually we have in our puja room, there will be the idols or photos or whatever, or your Ishta Devatas. Sometimes there will be a temple complex itself will be there in the puja room. So we do the rituals, we decorate the idol or photo or whatever, and then we light the lamp, either camphor or with oil lamp. We do what is known as Aarti. Even in the temples also they do, after the puja, Mangalarti they do. Okay. That means we are showing a light to the God. Now, the person who is doing puja, so we should know that this light, what we are showing, is a small light. Okay. But the light, the whole brightness or the light in this universe is His, that is Lord's. So it's from where the sun gets the light? From the Lord, from the truth, that is the super consciousness, or we say Brahman. So it is, the sun doesn't shine, the moon doesn't shine, the nakshatras or the stars won't shine unless it is shined by, lighted by Brahman, or it is all His light. It's all His light. So when He is the owner of the whole brightness in this universe, we are showing a small lamp. Is it not? For that, it is customary in Vedic tradition to ask for forgiveness to show this lamp. That pujaris chant in the temples, and also if they come into our house and do puja, they chant, but we won't hear it properly, or we won't know the meaning of it. So we will see that mantra, that is better to chant after the puja. Okay. Na tatra suryobhati na chandra tarakam, na tatra suryobhati na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhandi kutoyam agnihi, nema vidyuto bhandi kutoyam agnihi, tameva bhandamanupadi sarvam, tameva bhandamanupadi sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. The literal meaning is like this. Na tatra suryobhati na chandra tarakam. Neither does the sun shines there, where in the abode of the Paramatma, nor the moon with all the stars, nor does this lightning shines. It will not shine in His abode. So we don't need a candle to see the sun, is it not? To see the sun, we don't need a candle or a lamp.
Yes,
Like that, to see the Lord, we don't need a small lamp. Because nothing shines without him. So neither does the sun shines there, nor the moon with all the stars, nor does even the lightning. It is a so frightening current that also doesn't shine. What to say of this fire, what we are showing? Whether it goes there and shines. Everything shines after him. Tameva Pandam Anupadi Sarva. Everything shines after him. Who alone shines? Who alone shines? The lamp, what we are showing, is also he only. Who alone shines? Tasma Pasa Sarvamidam Vibhadi. Because of that, because of his light, all these shines in various forms. So very light is his. Okay. Now we will think. So you got the meaning. Tatra means there. Na Suryopadi, sun does not shine. Na Chandra Tarakam, that means where moon does not shine with all the stars. Vidyut Pandi means lightning. The possible lightning flashes there, it will not enter there. Because everything is his only. Kudoyam Agnihi, what about this small lamp, what I am showing you? Then, if this is the meaning, then why we are showing? Then actually, intelligent person can ask that question. If that is so, a rational question. Why we should show? But then why I do it? We do it because this is the only way we can relate with the God. The flowers we are giving to him, is it not his only? Everything is his only. But still we give. We decorate the idol, we decorate with diamonds or whatever it is, or gold or silver or whatever. And then this is the way we can show our love to him. Just because a baby of 1 or 2 years, we we decorate him with ornaments and with beautiful dress, whether he likes it. He may not like, he may even show like this. He wants to be free, but still we do it. Why? We want to see the baby because we love him in a beautiful form. Similarly, we want to see the Lord, the beautiful Lord, his body, his face. So it is for our happiness to show our love. This is how we can relate with the Lord. So all this we do. These are symbolic. Okay. And to dispel that ignorance, also the light is shown. That is also symbolic. After the puja. Okay. I know this, but I ask forgiveness to you because all the light belongs to you. Okay. When we go to the temple also, you see, if you analyze, all the 5 senses are divinized when we go to a temple. All our 5 senses, there will be bell to hear, and there will be light to see, and then he gives prasad. It will divinize our mouth. Okay. Then there will be this, fragrance, agarbatti. It for the wood smell. So all, and then we take pradashina, touching the ground. So all the 5 senses are vitalized and divinized. This if the children ask why this arti is being done, why the bell is ringing, so we must tell the children, this is what it is. At the same time, this sloga tells that I know all these things, but this is how I can relate to my loving God. So I ask you, forgive us. You see, in all the, after this Mangalarti in temples, the pujaris chant this sloka. Okay?
Yes, yes, Auntie. We are at time, and it was a wonderful explanation. Really, we didn't know so many facts which we came to know. So I will try to unmute everybody and stop the recording so that others can